You know that feeling when you wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep, when you push through your day running on empty, wondering where your energy went? Here's something most people don't know, that fatigue may actually be happening inside your cells. That's why I've been using anti-factor lipids powder from Nutritional Therapeutics for years. I don't go a day without it. It's based on over 20 years of research and a patented process called membrane lipid replacement, which actually repairs the damaged components of your cell membranes, restoring your cell's ability to produce energy the way they did when you were younger. Clinical studies show anti-factor can reduce fatigue by up to 40%. Just 1 or 2 scoops a day. Mix it in a smoothie like I do, sprinkle it on food, and you're giving your body the science of youthful energy. Anti-Factor Lipids Powder comes in 2 convenient sizes. For more information and to order, just call 800-982-9158, 800-982-9158, or go to antifactor.com. That's antifactor.com for Anti-Factor Lipids Powder. Welcome to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. It's your weekly opportunity to send questions to us. You can send them via questions@drhoffman.net, and judging from our inbox, people are availing themselves of that opportunity because we got quite a lot of discussion starters for today's Q&A with Leyla. With me, of course, is Leyla Mutin, who is our resident nutritionist. Enjoying a little bit of time at the beach, right?
Yes.
Nice weather today.
Yeah.
And you coming to us via what looks like a very luxurious trailer there.
Well, not very luxurious. It's kind of our construction trailer, but it's where we are while the house is being built.
Okay. So it's kind of a temporary habitation while you're waiting for all those approvals and the construction to finish. And so at least you're having a nice day at or near the beach on the north shore of Long Island. So I, on the other hand, am ensconced right here in Manhattan. And you can see, by my T-shirt that spells out where I'm located. It says Manhattan, right? Oh, actually, I forgot to turn on the video. So here it is. Okay. So you just heard a disembodied voice. So now you can see my T-shirt, which is okay. So, okay. So, all right. Well, good stuff. So we're going to get to questions momentarily. Questions at drhoffman.net. We got some great questions. So, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we're writing about. As I said so often, the challenge is not so much writing the article. Half the challenge for me is to figure out from week to week what to write about. And since I churn out about 50 articles a week, because a couple of weeks, I'm on vacation, there's some reprises, and I always try to come up with something original because I get bored. I get bored about writing about the same old thing. Last week I had an idea to write about itch, prompted by a question on my weekend program. And I found that I was going to write, kind of a succinct article about itch, but then I found that I had to write a very lengthy dissertation about itch because there's so many different causes and there's so many plausible treatments and there's some amazing treatment. Actually, one of the most interesting treatments that I came across was topical B12. And I thought, that's kind of weird. Smearing a B12 ointment on your skin can actually help with itch. But there is actually some pretty good research that suggests that B12 does something to the skin cells. Maybe it revives the mitochondria. They think it also may have to do with nitric oxide signaling. It turns out that in itchy skin, there's actually an overproduction of nitric oxide, which causes vasodilatation, and all the itchy stuff comes to the surface of the skin. The skin gets more red, and the B12 seems to regulate that. I found that quite fascinating. So, maybe and that's not something you can, I don't think there's any commercially available B12 creams that you can buy. I think you have to have it specially formulated in a compounding pharmacy. But I thought that was kind of cool. That article, actually, we have a couple of questions about that because or comments, because at the end of the article, I said, and you're welcome to do this even now. If you have an itch experience that you'd like to share, and especially your favorite itch remedy, please share that with us via questions@drhoffman.net. We'd be happy to talk about it and air those comments and experiences and suggestions on Q&A with Leyla. So this week, I was kind of hard pressed to come up. It's always a little bit of anxiety. Like, what am I going to talk about? Have I run out of ideas? Have I run out of subjects? I mean, there's only so much you can write about, like the benefits of vitamin D or the benefits of exercise or, gut health, and, we talk a lot about that, and there's always something new to share. But I had a brainstorm, and my next week's article is going to be entitled, I haven't written it yet, Avoid These Types of Doctors. And so there are different ways that it can go wrong with a doctor. And so among the types of doctors that I suggest that people avoid are the gaslighter, right? Gaslighting means it's like your symptoms, you must be crazy. I've never heard of this kind of thing. It's probably all in your head. Yada, yada. That's medical gaslighting. And it's a well-known phenomenon. Also the condescender, somebody who will talk about matters that a patient might be quite capable of understanding, but it's like, don't you worry your little head about it, and gives you a very perfunctory explanation when actually you're really desirous of more information. So like using condescending language, too simplistic language, it's kind of like expecting that your patient is dumb. There's the ghoster, somebody that you try and get in touch with, you haven't, and you can't reach them. You can't, right? Oh my gosh. Or you're having a problem and like that. It's like, it's like the date that you had and then the person, doesn't answer anymore. The negative role model, so many doctors are poor role models. You walk in and, they have the smell of cigarettes on them or,
or taking good care of themselves, all of that.
And so different types, the narcissist, the eccentric. I have a story that I'll share from a friend of mine who told me a story about a doctor. He had a lot of confidence in the doctor, but then the doctor started saying some very weird things to him, and he lost all confidence in the doctor. He just thought the doctor was a great doctor, very responsive, but then when he started sharing some really weird ideas that he had, he completely lost faith in the doctor. So that suggested the doctor was a little bit, I don't know, if your doctor starts telling you that, they are really fascinated by UFOs and that their next vacation is going to be Area 51 or or
if they can get in,
or, maybe your doctor, wears a sorcerer's hat, one day and,
has a magic wand.
I don't know. It just might be a little off-putting. So I'm just, I'm playing around with this idea. I'm going to write the article and it'll be in our newsletter. Go to our newsletter, go to our website and you can subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get the article automatically, or if you so choose, you don't want to subscribe to anything, I get it. You can always find an article on our website and you can select the article and read that a la carte, so to speak. And so are you working on anything, or do you have a writer's block this week? No writer's block?
No. Sometimes I do. And I, like you, I get a little actually, what am I going to talk about now? What am I going to, because I'll get bored too about the same topic in a different approach kind of way. But this one is just a little more philosophical because I just started thinking about what are some of the obstacles? What are some of the problems? What are some of the issues in making these lifestyle changes and things? Or I talked about getting back to basics.
Okay.
And I'm talking about for those of you out there who feel like your program is very fatiguing, there are lots of details. There are a lot of things that you need to do. There are a lot of, different foods to think about.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Because you can have like analysis paralysis, right?
Right.
You've got like, 5 different wearables, and you're correlating all this data, and, your Oura Ring tells you that you didn't have an optimal night's sleep, and, blah, 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 right?
Yeah. Getting back to basics with just do the simple things like make sure your diet, it's a whole foods-based diet the way nature intended. No processed food. That's easy enough to do. That's easy enough to shop and get and do. Your supplements, once a week, get your pill box out, get all your bottles out. While you're watching your favorite TV program, get them all together. Get them all together on Sunday.
I do that like baseball. Baseball's kind of slow. So you don't really, when you hear the crowd cheer, you turn back towards the TV set.
Right. You could just set it up for the entire week and you're done. You don't have to go fumbling with bottles every day or making sure that you bring it to work with you. And it's already done for you. And it's all portable. And even with exercise, did you use the right form? Did you work the muscle groups you were supposed to today and something different tomorrow? What about just stick to these 4 functional exercises. If you're really tired or you don't have a lot of time, just do these 4 things. And I named them squats, lunges, plank pose, push-ups until you regroup, until you're able to structure your days better to fit in the workouts that you were doing. Or any other kind of health modality that you're exploring or started, and maybe it's a little too much or requires too much of your attention. Again, like you said, don't overthink it. Just step back a little bit, do these basic things so you're not you haven't derailed yourself. You're still following. You're still on your health journey. It's still evolving. It's okay. Step back, regroup, simplify things for a period of time until you can figure a better way to structure it or cull what you feel like you don't need if it's simply too much.
I think that article's going to be a real failure because makes too much sense. It's too commonsensical. And in this world of clickbait, and audacious claims for very extreme regimens, it's going to be lost in the Tower of Babel. It totally makes sense.
Right. And I warned people also, if you're always thinking about, that food isn't healthy for me, I have to eat this, I can't eat that, then it becomes orthorexia. And that's not where we're going.
Good. Okay.
That is not good for your health. So now you really need to step back and reevaluate if you're avoiding social situations and doing all of that and worrying too much about, but there's seed oils in that restaurant, whatever.
Yeah.
Get over it. It's all right. It's one meal. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're way more resilient than you think. So, don't overthink it.
It's not only obsessive, but it's also kind of narcissistic, is that people spending all too much time monitoring themselves, focusing on themselves. So focus outward.
It's too much me.
Focus on the world. Focus on the world.
Focus on the world.
So
focus on who you can help.
So this week's article, I decided to finally write kind of a comprehensive article about it's time to talk about those GLP-1 drugs. And so you will see it. You'll help me edit the article before it appears this week.
Yeah.
And it should be appearing around the time that this podcast appears. So check out drhoffman.com. Drop-down menu says listen, the podcast, and it says read articles, or you can subscribe to the newsletter. You'll be prompted to enter your email.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So without further ado, let's get to questions. But before we do that, let's TCB, take care of business. And that means allowing one of our sponsors an opportunity to share an important message. So here goes. Listen up.
Are you ready to experience the future of digestive wellness with Dr. Ohhira's new and revolutionary postbiotic fermented food concentrate? Capsule-free and in individual sachet packets that harness the power of 5 years of fermentation and over 500 concentrated bioactive postbiotics. Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food concentrate is a nutrient-dense paste designed to supercharge your digestive health, aid in nutrient absorption, and support whole body immune wellness. Each sachet packet delivers a potent blend of fermented paste and prebiotics which serve as fuel for your body's own unique gut microbiome. This concentrate supports your entire digestive tract, does not need refrigeration, non-GMO, dairy, and gluten-free. Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food concentrate. It is the ultimate embodiment of traditional Japanese fermented craftsmanship, designed for those who seek the highest concentration of nature's restorative power in every serving. Ask your natural products retailer for it today or online at essentialformulas.com.
Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors, because I genuinely believe in their messages. If not, I would not have them as sponsors. I'm very, very discriminating about our signing up sponsors. But this, I think, is also part of the package of information that you get here on Q&A with Leyla and on our other podcasts, is messaging from some of our sponsors about some what I consider really good products. All right.
Yeah.
Let us begin the questioning. Or actually, we're going to start with some comments, right?
Comments. Yes. Okay. Yes. About your itch article, Dr. Hoffman. Linda writes, my twin sister and I were plagued with an awful daily itch. It was a histamine release that took over 20 minutes to settle down so that we could go on about our day. Well, as we got older, it happened less and less and would come during some seasons. I now use lavender oil for any and all itches, and it settles it all down within a minute or two. It's been a lifesaver, for which I had to find on my own, because no dermatologist could help me with this debilitating itching. No cream they gave me offered any help at all. I love listening to you, Dr. Hoffman. Thank you for all that you do.
So it's interesting, I hadn't written about lavender oil, but lavender oil is an essential oil that has both antimicrobial properties. So if there's a bacterial component or a fungal component, it may suppress that. But, that could equally be the case with, Neosporin, or with, with other types of oils like oil of oregano, for example, or, tea tree, which can be a little
oil.
Irritating, but it's antifungal. So lavender, antimicrobial, but it's also has a kind of relaxing and sedating effect.
Yes.
And that kind of works when it's diffused in the air, or when you take it as an oral supplement. So I wonder if it has a kind of a nerve effect on the skin. It calms the nerves. I don't know. That's
interesting.
I'll have to look into that.
I think lavender is also contained in herbs of Provence.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of the things I don't like about herbs.
I hate it. That's the one herb that
stand it.
It ruins the taste of everything.
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah. I think some of that for me is the lavender. But I wonder if that's a thing. Yeah. Now, lavender, we got to be careful because it can be estrogenic.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up, because there are some cases where they have used topical lavender on young boys who have developed gynecomastia, breast enlargement, due to its estrogenic effects.
Yeah.
And so that is an interesting point. So thanks for bringing that up. But I guess less of a pronounced effect in a woman, and particularly a menopausal woman, it might be a little like a form of mild hormone replacement therapy.
Right. And lavender, I think for kids who are hyper at bedtime and all of that, maybe the lavender infusion in the air, that kind of thing, or in the soap at bath time, things like that. But again, it can be estrogenic. So kind of mind all that. These essential oils, they are powerful.
Yeah.
You need to, heed the warnings and all of that, and talk to somebody who's a real expert in all of those. Joyce writes, I've not found a solution for the itch. I'm just passing this along. I have an itch on my back, one area, for many years. My father had the same on his back. So did my auntie. They had the same thing. I've got it, and just passing along that information.
Well, there's probably some genetic component to that. Some people are high histamine people. Some people have a genetic deficiency of DAO, which is something that breaks down histamine. And if you have a DAO deficiency, you can actually take supplements of DAO, diamine oxidase, which is porcine derived. It's derived, I think, from pig pancreas, I think,
Okay.
So it is helps with breaking down histamine. Look, I don't know if that's the problem.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Read the article because there's a million
lot of
different
information
options,
there.
and you can explore some of those options. And diet makes a difference, and
It can. Certain. All right. We've got a question here from Rick. Oh, Dr. Hoffman, I was looking at your post-triathlon smoothie recipe.
Mm-hmm.
You use milkadania.
It's not just post-triathlon. I use it on a daily basis as a post-exercise
Very good.
drink.
You use milkadania, stating that you are dairy sensitive. However, you add whey protein.
Mm-hmm.
How does that not upset?
Well, okay, so let's look at what is dairy and what are the things that can bother people in dairy. Well, first of all, there's lactose, which is not a protein, it's a sugar. And some people, especially in adulthood, lose the ability to digest lactose. Mm-hmm. I actually read an article on human evolution, and what it appears is that human evolution is still going on, at least in terms of the millennia, because around 10 to 15,000 years ago, adults developed a unique ability among mammals. Most mammals, adult mammals, cannot drink milk because they're lactose intolerant, but because that became an important source of calories when pastoralists began domesticating animals and milking them, lactose became a problem for adults, and actually evolution allowed some humans, especially Nordic humans, some tribes in Africa, in certain regions of Africa, and certain regions of Asia, more like Northern Asia, Mongolia, Siberia, that kind of thing, that they actually have the ability to, this is called lactase persistence, the ability to use the enzyme lactase to break down. So that's one thing. So the other thing is two basic proteins in milk, casein and lactalbumin. And you know how I help people remember that is Little Miss Muffet, Saturn or Tuffet, eating her curds and whey. The curds are the casein, and you make cheese out of curds. Yeah. And the whey is buttermilk, which some people like to drink. I kind of watery. But from buttermilk, they make whey protein, because that's like the other thing that Little Miss Muffet was eating. And the whey can be processed in a couple of ways. One is there's a concentrate of whey, and the other is what I take, which is a whey isolate. And in a whey isolate, it somewhat even further breaks down the lactalbumin. So most people are allergic to dairy. Well, some people think they're allergic to dairy, but they have lactose intolerance. They're not really allergic.
Which is not an allergy.
It's not an allergy, it's an intolerance. But if you have an allergy to dairy protein, it's usually to casein. It could be to lactalbumin, but the vast majority is to lactalbumin. But the lactalbumin in whey is even somewhat processed so that it is less of the original molecule, the original protein. It's not, broken down into individual amino acids, but it's, peptide chains that are derived from lactalbumin. So that doesn't cause me any problems at all. And when it comes to allergy, I don't have anaphylaxis. I once was called on a plane to take care of a guy who had just a little salad dressing who had anaphylaxis to dairy. And, we had to have an emergency landing, and I had to, inject him with epinephrine and Benadryl. And, ultimately I saved his life because the guy, couldn't breathe. That was an anaphylactic reaction to dairy. Well, my allergies to dairy are more about if I have tremendous amount of dairy cumulatively, not just one-off, I'll get very congested. And so that, I guess, is relatively an allergy. And it also depends
dairy does make a lot of phlegm and mucus for a lot of people. It's just,
And the trifecta is if I have a lot of dairy in the spring and I swim a lot, that's like a trifecta. It's like too much of a consumed food that I'm intolerant to, the chlorine, which blasts my nasal passages, and then the pollen in the air. And then I go into histamine overload, and cutting back on dairy helps.
Yeah, I've been sneezing on and off myself this season. It's like, look at our picnic tables full of pollen and all of that. And
the weather report will tell you what the pollen is in your area.
hmm hmm Okay. So Rick, there you go. So whey protein is, yeah, want to say very hypoallergenic for most people. You know, even on a paleo diet, Dr. Hoffman, the advice is that after 3 to 6 months, you could add in whey protein,
Okay.
even on a paleo diet. If you're if everything has gotten better, try that, and that will be the first thing to add back in as an additional source of protein, and you can kind of keep it.
Yeah, and
Interestingly,
especially with the emphasis these days on protein, and I'm a little older. I'm
yeah.
also involved in exercise, and
hmm
it's a little bit of an insurance policy that I get the requisite amount of protein to sustain
Absolutely.
muscle mass and muscle function,
hmm
and
Yeah.
aiming for about zero point 0.8 grams per pound of body weight.
hmm
So I actually
Yeah.
talk about it in an article that I wrote about the GLP-1 drugs is, how to achieve, when you're on GLP-1 drugs, your appetite is really limited.
Suppress. Yeah.
And so, if you have, 2, 3 eggs and you have a couple of scoops of protein powder and you have an 8-ounce serving of, chicken or fish or meat,
hmm
you will actually get up to close to what your protein requirements are.
Yeah.
And get thrown a smattering of protein from other sources because it's hard to avoid
Right.
protein in almost any food.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something, and that's why the people taking those drugs, they need to prioritize. If there's anything that you've left behind on your plate, let it be the vegetables, let it be the salad, let it be the potato, the rice, whatever else. That protein needs to get in because
Yeah.
you're eating a whole lot less. So, it's like new rules for, eating on a GLP-1.
You'll like that article because in the article I propose that for people to get these drugs, it's so easy to access them. You just get them online and just grab and go and self-administer without any supervision whatsoever. And my belief is that they should be it should be mandatory that you have a program whereby a physician or a health practitioner prescribes the drugs, and then you work with a nutritionist and you work with a trainer simultaneously to avoid the downsides of these drugs,
Yes.
which mostly is your appetite is so curtailed that you're going to lose a lot of your lean body mass
Yeah.
irretrievably
what you don't
because it's
want.
hard
Yeah.
to get that back, especially when you're older.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and what I say is I kind of revive an old phrase, which is, the phrase "no ticky, no laundry," and that's not to
Yes.
me, not to be an Asiatic slur or stereotype, but the point being is, if you don't get the drug unless you embark on a collaborative program and in effect sign a contract that
Yes.
you are going to undertake this, not just shooting yourself up with something, but you're going to make a lifestyle commitment to weight
Yes.
loss, because otherwise it's going to go south.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time people get off these drugs, and I know many clients who they've had their time with them, they are off of them, they're regaining the weight. And it's been shown in the literature that within a year, they're gaining back the weight and they just want to be on it forever. But we don't know what the downstream effects over the long term may be with taking these drugs.
All
So
that is pointed
we're
out in that
finding all
article.
that
I think
out.
you're going to like it.
Yeah. Terrific.
It'll probably be emailed to you.
Yeah.
I know that our newsletter editor likes to email things at 4:00 in the morning.
I know. Wow.
So he'll be the first thing that you'll see when you wake up tomorrow. Probably.
Right. Exactly. And getting back to the dairy, this is interesting. This email from Eva about a dairy patch, a lactose relief patch.
Whoa.
Is being sold by a country called Barrier.
A company.
Barrier. Called Barrier.
Yeah. It's like a fancy spelling because it's like a little bit of a Frenchy kind of spelling. Barrier as opposed to barrier. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rhymes with derriere.
Exactly. Rhymes with derriere. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's BARR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any thoughts?
So, and I looked at the website because you told me about
too.
it, and they have a whole lineup of transdermal vitamins. And I've long said that whole concept is really misguided because the vast majority of vitamins cannot be absorbed through the skin, or if so, they can only be minimally absorbed through the skin. So it's a waste. And I have to say, it's beautifully marketed. It's a very appealing website.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these companies out there, their marketing way exceeds their science. So how do you relieve lactose intolerance? Well, one, you can give orally the enzyme that helps to break down milk, which is lactase.
Lactase.
And or you can just avoid lactose. Have
avoid milk.
Lactose-free, low lactose cheeses and dairy and ice cream and all that stuff. And the other way you can do it, interestingly, is you can gradually reacquire some ability to digest lactose, because it's not like the guy on the plane who had anaphylaxis to dairy with like a little salad dressing pack, gave him a life-threatening reaction. It is a mass effect. So people who have lactose intolerance, it's usually relative lactose intolerance. Like they'll say, oh, I can have like one scoop of ice cream, but if I have like a whole ice cream sundae, or if I have like
it's a threshold effect.
It's a threshold. Exactly. It's a threshold effect. So, but it's kind of one of those use it or lose it things, is you can actually require the ability to digest lactose to some extent. Not to,
some extent. Yeah.
With me, the limit is I cannot have no way, no how New England clam chowder.
Oh, okay.
That is like a creamy bomb. So it's always Manhattan clam chowder if I'm going to have clam chowder. I can tolerate small amounts of ice cream or, milky things. Cream being more fat and protein and a little less lactose.
Yes. That could be something. A lot of people with lactose intolerance, to a lesser degree, they're able to eat things like hard cheeses. Hard cheeses has very
low
little,
lactose.
if any.
You can see the list of the cheeses that you can do. So cottage cheese is very high lactose.
Yes.
But the hard cheeses are low.
Yeah. Right.
Fresh mozzarella.
More aged cheeses are lower. The fresher cheeses have more lactose in them. People are able to say, well, how come I'm also able to eat yogurt? Because the probiotics are kind of eating up a lot of the lactose for you. But they can't have a scoop of ice cream, or they can't have a glass of milk that sends them running to the bathroom. They're very uncomfortable. So they can take things like yogurt.
So the final word on barriere, fancy name, is that I actually think they should change their name to derriere, because it's more plausible that you could take those vitamins and take them rectally, and they'll be better absorbed that way.
Yes, as a suppository.
As a suppository. But I don't know if that would catch on too well.
Yeah.
Oh
boy, like I'm not sure about the coffee enemas catching on it, whatever. But yeah.
Well, coffee enemas do give you. I've been there, done that. Since I was a patient once of Dr. Nick Gonzalez. You had to do the whole protocol. The protocol called for coffee enema, and it had to be caffeinated coffee, but it had to be organic. Otherwise, because you really don't. You want really high quality. And by the way, you had to cool it down. Now you didn't want iced coffee.
No.
But you didn't want it.
You don't want hot coffee.
You don't want hot coffee, so you want to kind of like test it like the way that parents test, baby milk.
The milk, on
right.
Their wrist.
But it does give you a lot of pep. Anyway, that being said, let's move on to more prosaic subjects in part 2. So give us a preview of what we're going to tackle in part 2.
Oh, yeah. Is high blood pressure genetic? Are we stuck having to take blood pressure medication?
Okay, great question. We're going to tackle that question in part 2. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman today with Leyla Meaden, because it's our weekly Q&A with Leyla. Hence, I'm with Leyla. And together we answer your questions. Questions come to questions@drhoffman.net. Keep sending those questions. You've been great about sending questions. And, there's no question that is too dumb. And we'll also appreciate comments and experiences. Maybe you're reacting to something that we've written about, or something you've experienced in the medical or nutritional realm, we're happy to hear about it and pass it along to our audience. Questions at drhoffman.net. All right, we'll be right back with more of today's Q&A with Leyla. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is the Intelligent Medicine Podcast.